When I bought my house 6 years ago, I told myself that I'd eventually get a wall-mounted coat hanger at my front door so that I could easily hang my coats, sweaters, keys, and other miscellaneous things. Over the years, I've been hanging my jackets in different areas of my house, and recently it started bothering me because I'd run into my jackets while trying to go down to my studio that's located in my basement. Today, we're going to change that by designing and making a wall-mounted coat hanger with a shelf. Hey, what's up again? If you're new here, I'm Tim Ung, an architect with a passion for designing products. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this one. For this coat hanger and shelf project, we'll be using 1/4-inch cherry plywood, a Glowforge laser cutter, wood glue, standard rope hooks that you can purchase at a hardware store, a rubber hammer, and Odie's oil to finish the surfaces of the wood. To install it in my wall, I'll use standard construction screws and anchor it to the wood studs. Or, if I can't get a stud, I'll use drywall anchors and screws. We'll also be using a drill and drill bit to cut holes in the plywood for the specific rope hook that we're using and to mount it to the wall. To design this project, I used a software called Rhinoceros and started by drawing the general dimensions of the overall size that I had in mind. This came out to about 18 inches wide by 10 inches tall for the backboard. Then, I started designing the shelf that would be finger joined with slots in the back panel. I undersized the joints by a very small amount so that I could have both a glued joint and a tight friction fit. Sometimes, this doesn't work out in the end because the plywood might be a little too thick. It's important to measure your material with digital calipers to ensure that it will work. For the side panels, I designed an angled edge to add structural stability to the shelf. One side of the panel will also include finger joints that will be glued into the back panel. The last part of the design were the slots, which I developed at the same time as the bottom panel of the shelf. The bottom panel will have finger joints on 3 sides that will tab into the slots of the 2 side panels and the back panel. I also included slots along the 4th edge of the bottom panel, which I designed at the same time as the front panel. The front panel will ensure that nothing placed in the shelf will fall over the edge. It'll also tab into slots on the 2 side panels and the bottom panel. When the design was complete, I extruded each shape to construct a 3D model of the project. Personally, I do this as a double check to ensure that the pieces will come together and create the final product that I designed. I'm glad I did this for the coat hanger and key tray because I discovered some areas where I didn't account for a finger joint that moved a little bit out of place. You can see me working through several issues and updating parts of it in the design in this time lapse. The last design feature that I added was rounded corners for the side panels of the shelves and the corners of the back panels. Now that I'm satisfied with the design of the coat hanger and key tray, it's time to laser cut all of the pieces. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this one. Before we put the 1/4-inch cherry plywood into my Glowforge, I'll apply paper masking on both sides of the plywood to protect it from any burns and scorches from the laser. Once the paper masking is applied, I'll lay the plywood on the cutting bed of my Glowforge and set up the interface with the design file that I developed. I like to move the design into a corner to try and save some material for smaller projects in the future. Then, I adjust my cut settings and start the process of laser cutting. When all of the pieces are cut, I remove the paper masking. Then, I use one rope hook to locate where the screws will be installed, mark the location with a pencil, and drill holes for the rope hooks to be installed. I won't install them until the project is up on the wall, but it's easier for me to do this now than when the wood shelf is on the wall. Now it's time to assemble all of the pieces. I apply wood glue between each finger joint for the long panel and bottom panel of the shelf. I use my rubber hammer to get these pieces to fit snug against each other. Then, I install the side panels one at a time. With all of the panels together, I apply wood glue between the remainder of the finger joints and install it into the larger back panel. Speaking of which, if you wanted to engrave something onto the larger back panel, you could definitely do that and personalize it. If you want to purchase this digital design file, scroll down to the description section below, where I'll share a link to this file in my shop. Now that the pieces are assembled, the last step is to apply the Odie's oil finish to the surfaces. This is what the final assembly looks like. I installed the coat hangers so that you can see what the product looks like when it's complete, but I'll back the screws out about 50% of the way so I can install it on my wall. To do that, I'll start by drilling 4 holes in the coat hanger and key tray assembly. Then, I'll push it up against the wall, level it out, and mark the locations with a pencil. Using a drill bit that matches the size of the drywall anchor, I'll drill 4 holes in the wall and carefully hammer the drywall anchor into place. Now it's time to install the coat hanger and key tray. Using construction screws, I aligned the first one with the drywall anchor and fastened it about 90% of the way in. I repeat this process with the remaining screws, then go around and tighten them one by one. Then, I tighten each of the screws holding the coat hangers in place and the installation is complete. So that's how I design and make a laser cut coat hanger and key tray out of 1/4-inch cherry plywood. This functional project is one that I've thought about making for so long, and now I can finally move all my jackets and miscellaneous things to one location. This is a really helpful product for anyone who typically forgets where they last put their wallet and keys, because it creates a dedicated spot for these kinds of items. Let me know what you think about this coat hanger and key tray in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.